The Netherlands votes in just over a week. Dutch politicians have intensified their campaign ahead of next Wednesday's general election. Three-quarters of voters have yet to decide who to vote for. Conservative Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte's People's Party for Freedom and Democracy is leading the polls.
We are now #1 in the polls, but we still have the Freedom Party just behind us, Geert Wilders. So there's still a big risk that he could come out #1. So I think that would be very bad news. I will fight very hard for my party to get out first.
And that Freedom Party is Geert Wilders' anti-Islam, anti-EU Party for Freedom. It wants to leave the EU and quit the Eurozone. Wilders wants to close borders to all refugees, shut down mosques and ban the Koran.
The Koran really, for instance, if you look at anti-Semitism, has more anti-Semitism in it than, for instance, Mein Kampf, a book of another totalitarian, violent ideology. So I rather would have no Koran at all, as we, in Holland at least, have outlawed Mein Kampf as well. I believe that the Koran and the Islam, more especially, might be dressed up as a religion. It has a holy book, it has a temple, it has imams, but in reality it's not so much a religion, but more an ideology. There are young children in Holland that at the end of the day you want to integrate, get a job, get Dutch friends, have a normal life in Dutch society, should not be able to go to an Islamic school and be grown up and educated with intolerance, with hate, with violence. So I believe that the constitutional rights would not even have to be granted to something that is not a religion but an ideology.
About 5% of the Netherlands population is Muslim. The Dutch were renowned for multicultural tolerance, but immigration has taken center stage in the campaigning.
Personally, I'm not very afraid for myself, but I am afraid for others though, because the hatred he spreads can make people blind and make people not listen to each other, and it divides people.
Many Dutch voters support populism in these times of economic well-being, but an austerity campaign under Rutte hit middle and lower income Dutch much harder than the rich.
My research shows that there is a part of the population who is pessimistic about their financial future. It's about 30–35% of the Dutch population, usually also with lower education, who are favorable for a party like the party of Wilders.
The Dutch election is the first of 3 in the European Union this year. Like in the Netherlands, populist, nationalist and Eurosceptic parties in Germany and France are performing very well in the opinion polls. The Netherlands votes in just over a week. Dutch politicians have intensified their campaign ahead of next Wednesday's general election. Three-quarters of voters have yet to decide who to vote for. Conservative Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte's People's Party for Freedom and Democracy is leading